Welcome back. You're still watching Good Morning Namibia on NBC. Now, to bring you this other conversation, Climate Services Africa, ClimSA, is a European Union-funded program that aims to holistically address the gaps in climate information services in Africa by enhancing the capacities of AU member states to generate and incorporate timely and reliable science-based climate information and prediction into policy and decision-making, development, planning, practice, as well as for better management of the risk of climate variability and change. On the other hand, the SEWA project enhances the capacities of African Union member states to produce and deliver space-based services and applications, data and information for early warning systems related to hazardous weather or climate events. It is with this background that the Joint ClimSA-SEWA Forum is established for sharing information, and Namibia will be hosting this summit for the first time, that is this year. Now, to shed more light on this summit is Mr. Harsen Nyambe, the Director of Sustainable Environment and Blue Economy, as well as Surekha Ramesur, a SADC Climate Service Center Senior Program Officer, all joining us now in studio to share more on this topic. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome to Good Morning Namibia.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you. Good morning to you.
Absolutely. What is the significance of hosting the Joint ClimSA-SEWA Forum in Namibia, and how does it actually align with the climate resilience and disaster risk reduction roles, perhaps goals? If you can just talk to us about that, Ms. Ramesur.
Okay, so as you pointed out, we have the ClimSA program. It's EU funded. Then we have the SEWA, which is also EU funded. Right. And it's coming at a right time because, as you know, Namibia is already doing a lot in terms of building climate resilience when it comes to capacity building, resource mobilization. And we also note that, climate change is there. We can talk about mitigation a lot, but the impacts are there. You did mention we have to build a climate resilient society. For example, we noticed even during the last rainy season, we started with drought, everyone suffered. Then we had heavy rainfall, we had flash flooding. So you see this impact of climate change, they are there. And such forums, it helps to sensitize the policymakers, it's helped to sensitize all the users, and finally to build a climate resilient society. So to protect the communities, to protect property and save lives, finally. So it's well aligned with Namibia strategy as well.
Very well. Thank you so much for that explanation. Mr. Nyambe, talk to us about the collaboration between ClimSA and SEWA, how they actually complement each other in addressing climate-related risks and enhancing early warning systems across Africa.
Thank you very much. In terms of the ClimSA project, one of its tangible, actually, should I say, output is to support member states in terms of providing them with weather observation equipment. And the whole aim is to ensure that they are able to get reliable information. For example, if you tell an ordinary farmer, a small-scale farmer, that there's a possibility of raining or receiving rain, I think that's not sufficient. They would want to know when it will rain and by how much rain they are going to receive, so that they can be able to plan their activities, farming activities. Yeah. And the SEWA one comes in, it builds on the infrastructure that is going to be provided that is being provided by the ClimSA project. And that one will focus now on early warning, like my colleague has indicated, so that if it rains, they can tell them that, okay, it will be heavy rain and it's likely going to flood your farm or things like those. So basically, it's more about impact.
Very well. And what she also mentioned, looking at the policy outcome, or rather concrete outcomes that are going to be coming from this forum. What can you say some of the concrete outcomes or policy recommendations really are expected to emerge from this year's forum, particularly in terms of strengthening regional collaboration in climate and space-based services?
For this forum, we are going to have a couple of stakeholders, basically a wide range of stakeholders. We have regional economic communities, like she's representing SADC. Yes. We'll have IGAD, we'll have Central Africa, and so forth. And then in addition to that, we have got member states. By member states, I mean people representing their own governments, right, and also civil society organizations, as well as UN agencies. So what will be happening is that they will be sharing lessons that have been learned. Yeah. They are also going to be identifying some of the gaps and make recommendations on how those will be addressed. And of course, at continental level, we also have got a meteorological strategy for Africa. So they are going to also see to what extent we have gone in terms of implementing that, as well as other initiatives that are related to issues of weather and climate.
Very well. Mr. Ramesur, to your understanding, what are some of the main capacity gaps, that are identified among African Union member states in using climate and space-based data for decision-making, as well as how, these are being addressed through ClimSA and SEWA?
Okay, so the gaps are there. If you look at the African continent, even our capacity, it varies. Like you may have, let's say you compare countries like Lesotho and South Africa. I'm comparing in my field, the meteorological field. Right. So you see some of the national meteorological services, they have limited capacity, limited infrastructure. One simple thing could be even internet, the bandwidth. Because, we are talking about SEWA, Director. So we are talking about space data, remote sense data. So yes, the data is coming from somewhere. But to ingest that data, you need that internet capacity, that bandwidth. Yeah. So that is a major gap. It's not harmonized all through the continent. Some member states do have better internet connectivity, but some member states, it's very poor. The connectivity is very poor. And this also limits the capacity to produce timely or even as accurate information, because it's like your input, what you're using, yeah, will guide your output as well. So this is one gap. Then also there's a gap of capacity in terms of human resource, lack of human resource, shortage of human resource. We have also the issue of kind of brain drain. People are capacitated, but they are leaving to work somewhere else. So these are some of the limitations. And in terms of capacity building, you will note that through the ClimSA program, we have capacitated not only the producers of climate services, like not only NMHS's staff, but also the users from the key sectors such as the water, energy, food and agriculture, DRR sectors.
Very well. Mr. Nyambe, talk to us about how local communities are going to be engaged, or rather how this forum is actually going to create a platform for better engagement, especially in local communities, those that are in vulnerable and rural areas, for them to actually be empowered to benefit from climate information and early warning systems.
As indicated by my colleague, we are also looking at specific sectors. For example, if we talk about a sector such as agriculture, or a sector such as water or disaster risk reduction, we are actually not only talking at policy level. Yes, we target policies in the sense that policies should be based on science. But in addition to that, we need to make sure that the communities, actually, who are the end users or people whom we consider the last mile, also get the information. Right. Yes, when it comes to issues of disasters. But for us, we operate at continental level, and then we have got another layer like for SADC, who operate at sub-regional level, and then we have got national governments. So we equip the government, for example, with the weather observation equipment, and also capacity building together with SADC. We work with regional economic communities. And then we expect the government now to take that to the sub-national level and up to the community level. So basically, once there's reliable information, the Met services, people within Namibia, for example, will ensure that the information now that they give to the community is actually reliable. But we are also trying to explore options of engaging into indigenous knowledge, because there's a lot of knowledge that is there at local communities that communities have been using for years or generations to be able to know when it will rain and when they expect floods and so forth. So we are also trying to actually engage into that process. To that effect, we have got some consultants who are actually collecting data to try and see how we can integrate what we call modern science as well as indigenous knowledge.
So in brief, what are your expected outcomes from this upcoming forum?
From the forum, what we expect is actually to understand what are the current gaps. As she indicated, we are addressing capacity or improving capability. Yeah. So we want to understand where are the gaps, and then those recommendations in terms of how we can address them or fill those gaps.
Yeah. So, Ramesur, is looking ahead, how will the outcomes of the joint forum, as indicated by Mr. Nyambe, perhaps influence long-term collaboration that is now with the African Union and the EU as well, and African countries in climate adaptation and early warning service delivery, and as well, perhaps in conclusion, your expectations for the upcoming forum?
Okay, so let me just go back to your previous question as well. Yeah. So one of the outcome of this forum, we are not bringing only, we are not talking among ourselves. It's not only a forum where we have the national Met or the DRR. So we are bringing the whole panoply of users through the whole value chain, even the academia and even civil societies and all. So one of the main aim is to build that coordination. So that coordination mechanism, and also talk about how we can kind of synergize, how we can talk about sharing of data. So it's better coordination rather than working in silos. Then one, as you said, what would be the way forward? We talk about the gaps. So we are also bringing in funders. So we are talking about resource mobilization, because we know at national level we cannot implement, we cannot solve all the problems. And also we have to look at it from a broader perspective, from the African perspective, continental, regional perspective. So how we can resource mobilize. So we are, one of the aim is so that we can, have a better visibility and mobilize resources to cater for the needs of the community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much to you both. We wish you all the best for the forum. Can't wait to, of course, see more outcomes from there, and, of course, hope to have more conversations with that. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Mr. Harsen Nyambe is the Director of Sustainable Environment and Blue Economy Directorate of African Union Commission, as well as Ms. Surekha Ramesur, the SADC Climate Service Center, the Senior Program Officer. They are talking to us about the upcoming, that is ClimSA as well as SEWA conference, or rather forum, that is going to be hosted in Namibia soon. We'll be right back with more interviews right here on Good Morning Namibia. Do stay with us.